Why are people so afraid of taking risks? I don't get it. I genuinely don't. Why are people so afraid of doing something they may not be 100% used to doing? Taking a risk they've never took before, maybe investing more money into themselves than they're used to doing, maybe moving abroad, maybe quitting their job. Why is it so terrifying to take a risk these days? Why? I don't get it. You're not going to die. I would argue you're going to probably end up in a better place if you take a bunch of calculated risks. And when I say calculated risks, I mean you need to think about the risk in itself. Because every decision you make that can harm you is a risk. And you must take calculated risks. So what is a calculated risk? A calculated risk is you weighing the risk to reward and coming to the conclusion that the potential reward is greater than the potential risk. That is a calculated risk. I'm not saying take stupid, reckless risks that have no significant reward, but a big risk. To me, like a reckless risk is skydiving. I don't get people who skydive. To me, that's like, sure, you may get an amazing experience. You may feel euphoria when you touch the ground and you come out of it alive. But the risk, the downside of doing it, the potential downside of possibly dying if the parachute fails or something goes wrong is far greater than the benefit, than the reward. So when I say taking risks, I always refer to calculated risks. So I don't get how people are so afraid of taking calculated risks. Why people can't maybe work a few months, save up some money, like an emergency fund and some expenses for like 6 to 12 months, then quit their jobs and just go all out on what they really want to do. Maybe it's building a personal brand, maybe it's building a business, whatever it is. Why is that so scary to people? Is it other people's opinions? Is it the fear of running out of money? Like, what is it? Because most people, they don't trust themselves to not be in a job. Most people are heavy consumers. They will spend a fuck ton of money each and every single month, and I don't think they can adapt to a life where they maybe have to be a little bit more cheap to get by. I think that plays a role in it. They always want that paycheck to come in. They're willing to stay consumers, to sacrifice potentially an amazing future, an amazing life. I don't get it. Like, why is it so dangerous and why is it so scary to take risks these days? You're not going to die. You're going to be fine. You're going to struggle. You're going to hurt. But it's going to be fine. Why is it that it's so demonized? If the reward is greater than the risk, do it. All you need is 1-2 years of taking calculated risks and your life is going to be forever different. It's going to be completely different from when you started. Why are people okay with staying the same? Why are people so okay with playing it safe and never really moving forward in life? Why is that something that people have bought into so much? See, I find and I know humans have been entrepreneurs since the dawn of time. We've always had a lack of security and lack of stability in our lives, and we've always had to fight to put food on the table. Obviously, today's entrepreneurs look very much different from the past, but we've always been entrepreneurs. Our ancestors were hunters. They needed to go out there and get food. They needed to go out there and kill an animal to feed their family, or else they would die. They didn't have an employer where they could just go and work, put some hours in, and then they get a boar or a deer to eat for the week. It didn't work like that. They had to go out there, they had to kill that boar or that deer, whatever, to feed their family. This has been the case forever. Like, human beings have always been entrepreneurs. We've always had this lack of security and lack of stability. But it's only since the last few decades where we've been so bought into just selling our time to get that stable paycheck. Why is it that we're okay with that? Why is it so wrong to live a scary life, an unstable life, an uncertain life? Why is that so demonized? Why are people so against it? again, you're not going to die. You're going to come out of it alive and a better human being as well. You're going to rise on top and above everyone you know, most people out there. Why is that a bad thing? Why not spend the next 1 to 2 years taking calculated risks as opposed to spending the next 40 years being safe? You know, the number one regret, one of the number one regrets, or one of the main regrets old people have on their deathbed is not starting that business they wanted to start. Not going ahead and starting that business that they really wanted to start. You know, because they were afraid. They wanted that safety. They've been taught their entire lives that you should play it safe. Go to school, get a job, pay your bills, don't make any noise, don't make any trouble, don't try different things, don't take risks, just be a good little slave, go to work. I mean, and then they grow old and they lie on their deathbeds and they think to themselves, why did I follow along with that narrative? Why did I adopt that narrative and buy into it? Now I'm old. My time is up. I'm not going to get a new life. I'm dying soon. I have a few days, a few weeks maybe left. Remember, they're lying on their deathbeds. And they think to themselves these thoughts, you know, why is it that I didn't try? Why isn't that I just went after it and took some risks? Why? Now they regret it. They lie there, they regret it, but they can't do anything about it. It's over. It's done. Time's up. I don't get it. You know, it's sad. It's sad that people are like this, but I guess, you know, it'll never change. But more and more people have woken up, to be fair. More and more people are starting to think. More and more people are starting to become more courageous. So, I mean, social media does have a lot of downsides, but in that sense, it does have a lot of good like upsides as well, because people are waking up, people are realizing things, and that's a good thing, in my opinion, you know? More people have become more daring and more courageous, and it's nice to see. So social media has some upsides, but it also has downsides, a lot of them. But yeah, I mean, I think people who are afraid of taking risks are just destined to fail. If you look at a calculated risk and you demonize it, and you can't even think to yourself about possibly taking that risk, you're destined to fail, you're destined to lose, you're always going to remain a loser, and that's just it. No one's coming to save you. You must have the balls, the courage to take calculated risks. Because that's what separates the great from the mediocre. It's all about courage. It's all there is. The people that succeed are courageous. Obviously, there are a lot of other factors. They work hard, they're consistent. There are a lot of things that have caused them to become successful. But the main thing is that they were courageous. They didn't care about other people's opinions. They were courageous enough to stand against other people's opinions and not pay any attention to them. They were courageous enough to take these risks, maybe quit their jobs, maybe invest in themselves, maybe move to that country they've always wanted to move to. They were courageous enough to do something, and now they're in a position where they can thank their past self for doing everything they did to get to the point where they are right now. Most people live with regret. The pain of regret is the greatest pain there is, because you can't revert time. Time is a resource, the most valuable resource you have, that is not renewable. It is not renewable. Money will come and go. Taking risks won't kill you. You have one life. You have a limited amount of time on this planet. It's not renewable. Your money is renewable. You can always make money, because let's be real, money isn't even real. They're printing money as we speak. They do that every single year, inflating the currency in the world and making it worth less. So people have to work harder to make ends meet. You know, you can't afford the same things you could back in the day. Back in the day, just one man could provide for an entire family. 2 cars, an entire house, woman not working, that's not possible anymore, because the currencies have been inflated. They're not as valuable as they used to be. Because there's nothing backing up the currencies, they're just printing money. Back in the day, decades ago, there was something backing up our currencies. I think it was gold backing up our currencies, but right now, there's nothing. Nothing is backing up the currency. It's worth nothing. They're printing it out of thin air. And people don't realize this. They're slaves to something that's not even real. A resource that is being printed as we speak. That's what they're slaving towards. So don't slave towards something that's renewable. Slave towards actually making your time on this planet worth it, you know? So yeah, just wanted to rant a little bit about that because something you do think about from time to time. It's crazy how this world works and how fearful and afraid people are these days. But yeah, that's it from me, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Cheers.